So I've been trying to make videos of this for some time because I there is a lot to the subject of Charlie Kirk's death that people just don't understand with regards to the consequences of it, but they also don't understand with regards to what they just unleashed. You see, there are a lot of people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, thinking that, the world's a better place with him out of it. They believe that, and claim he's a racist, a fascist, that he deserved to die, overlooking something they never realized until just now. You see, the media has been promoting that Trump is a racist, a Nazi, Hitler, and all that stuff, and that all of his followers are the exact same thing, just as guilty as Trump, so they say. They've been painting Charlie Kirk as a racist, a fascist, that he's, scum who's been inciting violence against certain communities, and they have been claiming that he deserved his death. But here's the thing. Only the media has been spreading that lie and spreading that claim, and only those who have listened to the media have believed it. Because nobody who goes to a Turning Point USA event, nobody who actually looks into Charlie Kirk, watches any of his videos, listens to any of his cast, or even investigates him, not via MSNBC or CNN, but actually from what he says, from his own live recordings, from his own live streams, from his own freaking testaments. Even when he goes on opposing line podcast, anyone who investigates these conversations that they have with him knows that this dude was a genuinely nice, kind-hearted, open-minded guy who opens the door to a conversation, a dialogue that has no sense of dominance whatsoever with regards to, jeering an opposing view or jeering an opposing debate subject. Yeah, there are people in the audience who cheer for Kirk, who cheer for, what he says. But the thing is, if you watch any of those debates, the crowd is quiet. For the most part, they're quiet until revelation hits, like the time that the dude who said that, he never saw the statistics where black on black crime was higher than white on black crime. And that, what's killing the black community is the black community. Yet Charlie Kirk did bring up those statistics. I don't remember if it was from FBI or whatnot, but when the dude read it, he could not believe it. He was stunned and everybody laughed. They laughed at the fact that this dude was having quite a realization because these statistics were coming from a pre-Trump White House survey. This was before Trump even got into the White House. And this dude is realizing that during Biden's era, oh my gosh, these are the statistics. And they are official. And wow. Just wow. The crowd, however, did not stop anyone from asking Charlie a question or from anyone who opposed Charlie's views from debating him. They didn't stifle him. They didn't do any of that. No. His crowd always encouraged the debate. They were listening. They wanted a valid point being presented for them to think about. And Charlie also encouraged that, more so for the person who had a subject of anything from transgenderism to fascism to racism to economics and communism. All of these things, he was willing for you to bring a competent argument so that y'all could debate about it, so that both parties could walk away thinking about the subject and getting from the conversation something to consider to either break down one's belief or ferment one's belief. Like if there is a point to transgenderism, this conversation was meant to cement it with a valid point, either for future conversation or future contemplation. And he was one of those guys who you had the opportunity not only to ask a question and then receive an answer, but also be able to respond to that answer, to respond to that inquiry, to respond. He would literally allow you A open debate. The thing about debates is it's not one-sided. You can't have a one-sided debate and call that a debate. He literally would allow a back and forth. He would always allow a back and forth. And anyone who views any of his debates and conversations knows that. You can't say that he just, claimed that he was open-minded and allowed people to ask a question, but prevented people from, giving a response to his answer or giving a response to his thoughts or giving a response to whatever he said. He was one of those guys you could literally talk to, and he allowed all viewpoints to be presented in open debate. Yet for some reason, they want to claim that Charlie Kirk was a freaking Nazi and a freaking fascist and a freaking racist. But now, they're going to be forced to have to present evidence and proof that Charlie was a racist or a fascist or anything that was so deplorable that would justify his death. And they're not going to have it. They're not going to have a single instance where they could actually prove that Charlie was a racist, that he hated the black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community. They're not going to have a moment where they can do that. They're not going to be able to present any evidence whatsoever. Not a clip. And if they did show a clip, you better bet that they're going to do what MSNBC and CNN and all of them do, which is edit it in a way that it takes out certain phrases, certain words, kind of like with Trump, where he said, do protest peacefully, go to the Capitol peacefully, protest peacefully. They kept that out and made it look like that he was saying, go and march on the Capitol and riot and do all sorts of things. But they won't have a full clip where he says anything degrading about any community except the truth. The truth that a man who is born a man is still a man no matter what surgery you go through. The same goes for a woman, and that there's no such thing as more than two genders. There's no such thing as changing genders. You don't. Think about it. A woman who tries to be a man is introducing hormones into their body that is foreign to their body, that their body does not produce. What does that say? The instant the hormones stop being put in, what hormones are still in there? Feminine hormones. When a man tries introducing female hormones into their body, but they stop doing that, what hormones are left? Male hormones. It's a basic fact. It's biological. You can't change it. But they want to say that, because he said these things, that he said the truth, that he was attacking the trans community. I mean, the truth is, if you put your hand in the fire, you're going to get burned. The truth is, if you put a knife into an electric socket, you're going to get shocked. And for that to be considered a lie or grounds for fascism, racism, or whatever you want to call it, is stupidity. It's more than stupidity. It's really more than stupidity, because they believe that everybody in the entire world who has experienced the consequences of doing either of those things that I just mentioned about a fire and an electric socket, they're believing that everyone else in the world is going to agree with them just because they want to be right. They want to be angry. They want to be hateful, and they want grounds of justification to be angry, overlooking the fact that reality does not support any of their hatred for Charlie Kirk, that reality doesn't support any of their so-called claims of justification for Charlie's death, that the world, that reality, that human people do not love the death of an opposing figure, whether they like them or not, because life is sacred and we don't wish that on anyone. If we were at war, truly at war, doing some killing with machine guns and rifles and cannons and all that stuff, if we were trying to conquer or whatnot, or we were being attempted at conquering and whatnot, war has rules for taking life. And yet for some reason, we're not at war. So why in the world would there be a celebration or justification for death? Where are the right-wingers and the freaking conservatives having to shoot and kill transgenders or killing Mexicans or killing black people, and y'all putting that on TV to prove a point? The only thing anyone who celebrates Charlie's death has for close justification, and get this, you're good. This is really gonna knock your socks off. The only close justification they have for that, get this, Jesse Smollett. And when I say close, I ain't even talking about close. I'm talking about imaginary close. You remember the two black Africans who wore the MAGA hats and said this is MAGA country and tried to and attack Jesse Smollett? Well, guess what? We all know the truth behind that one. They were paid actors. Paid actors. So that Jesse could claim hate crime from the right, from MAGA, from conservatives. And that was disproven really quick. Nobody ended up believing him when the facts came out. Therefore, there was no attack on the left from the right regarding violent crimes, regarding getting attacked, regarding getting shot, regarding any of the signs for Kamala, Biden, or any Democrat running official having to have their signs taken off, or freaking feces on, or pissed on, or any of that. No. No. You didn't have any evidence of right-wingers having to take Biden stickers off of cars or smearing them or damaging them or doing anything to a Democrat-favored vehicle line. You have none of that. Yet for some bizarre reason, they want you to believe that this violence, people getting shot and killed, people getting attacked, people getting violated happens from the right when it's from the left to the right. And when I say from the left to the right, I'm talking about from the left towards the right. The left is attacking the right. The left is attacking anyone who disagrees with them. And they thought this was going to be okay, that the world was going to celebrate Charlie Kirk's death, that the world was going to applaud, support them, cheering for the death of a figure who you can dislike for all you want, who you can disagree for all you want. But you celebrate his death? Because media said that he was a Nazi, that he was a fascist, that he was a racist. The media, keep in mind, everyone who believes that he was any of this only believe the media. But they've never had a real encounter or viable proof that he is what they claim he is. And they're not going to be able to produce it because it doesn't exist. These people are going to find out the hard way. Nobody loves death. Nobody loves murder. Nobody loves assassination. The only time anyone as a country, we as a country were okay with, assassination was when the death of Osama bin Laden. Sorry, I really don't remember at the moment. But I do know that his death was definitely a central point for everyone cheering, no matter what side of the aisle you were on. And that was because of what he did, 9/11, folks. The towers having to be, attacked, destroyed, and all the people who died in it, and all the people who died in the plane. The planes that attacked the Pentagon, American lives were lost because of radicalism from that fool. And there was proof that radicalism from that fool resulted from these planes doing what they did and from those lives being lost. And one person I remember having a talk with me said this was karma. I asked him, who did Charlie Kirk kill for you to say this is karma? Couldn't give me an answer. Couldn't tell me anything. Couldn't say that this was actually a legit representation of karma. You know what karma is, right? You get what you dealt. He never dealt death. He never incited death. Yet for some reason they want to claim this is karma. This isn't karma. This is people who are overly emotional, undisciplined, broke fools who think they're entitled to the wealth of other people's hard work and to the attention of other people's life and joyous positivity, optimism, and fuel for making a better life. They believe they're entitled to be carried by hardworking Americans and hardworking fathers and hardworking families and deserve the love of these families without having put anything worthy of love into the lives of other people, just themselves. They think that self-centerism is a viable entitlement that allows them to have the affection and appreciation and the love of everybody they've never helped. They're about to find out nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about them. Nobody loves them. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants to be near them. They're about to find out that this is grounds for them to be seen for exactly what they are. They're animals. They're demons. They're monsters. They're evil. And they have no good essence about them. Do they have souls? We don't know. That's really up in question now. That's really up in question. It's ironic, too. You see, the Germans and the Austrians who supported Hitler, they had to be questioned about whether or not they had souls, too. And what side, what group actually looks like Nazis now? Pointless, senseless death, and it's being celebrated. I wonder who looks like the Nazi now. They created images in their minds that right-wingers, conservatives, MAGAs, or any Democrat, liberal who supported Trump was a Nazi. And that we all wanted concentration camps for everybody who we disagreed with. That never came to be. That was never, in the plans, in the workings. Nobody hinted at it. No action from the right, from conservatives or Trump-supporting Democrats, liberals, and whatnot ever led towards that ever being a possibility. But now, look at this. They have somebody who disagrees with Charlie Kirk, finds him to be, believes he's a Nazi and all this stuff. They kill him unprovoked. And they want to claim that they killed a white supremacist and that what they're doing is for the good of America. And they believe that everyone, and I do mean everyone, is glad for his death. And that those who supported Charlie Kirk, loved Charlie Kirk, respected Charlie Kirk, appreciated Charlie Kirk, even those who disagreed with Charlie Kirk, are happy with the fact that he's dead. They're all going to find out this ain't the case. They're going to find out they are a very, very serious minority. The only thing you know what? It's a good thing these fools are making known of their glee and their happiness about his death. Because it makes clear, these are also the people who, if they get vindictive enough, will be happy that you're gone too. If they're vindictive enough, they'll call your death a justification and try and move on with their lives with no second thoughts. The reason we as a country formed laws, formed boundaries, was because we understood something these fools don't. Everyone can be dangerous. Everyone can kill. Everyone can get a knife. Everyone can get a rifle. Everyone can get a gun. Everyone can get a club. Everyone can get a mallet, hammer, whatever weapon. Everyone can get a car. Everyone can get a tank. Everyone can get something, even if by hijacking, and use it to kill people they don't agree with, they don't like. They think that there is some kind of unseen principle authority that prevents us from having to kill each other. That's not the law. The law is the law. It's not like some freaking physical manifestation, but it's basically a gentleman's agreement. We're not going to do this. The laws are not unbreakable. That's why we call people who break the laws criminals. That's why we persecute them, because we as a whole want for peace and stability and discipline and balance, and we want to prevent that discipline and balance and stability between all of us from being broken by having to pursue those who would jeopardize it. The reason we created laws in the first place was to prevent wars, internal and otherwise, from being formed. These fools think that it's impossible for there to be war, and I'm not saying there's going to be a war, but they're about to find out that this is going to be a one-sided persecution for what they're celebrating, because nobody should be happy about this dude's death. You are all free to disagree with his beliefs and positions. You're free to not like him. If it was possible to hate the dude without wanting his death, I would even say that. But for people to be like, yeah, he's dead, and no grounds but disliking him, with no evidence of any ill deed or criminality, no proof of it, no markings of it, just media saying that he's dangerous and he's a Nazi and he's a fascist and he's a racist and he's a threat to democracy, a threat, mind you. The word is always constantly that he's a threat. That he's a threat, that he's a threat, he's a threat. They got nothing else but this, and they want you to believe that his death is a good thing. And even after he got shot, the media was like, he's a divisive person, and his hate speech basically brought this on him. You want to know why the media is entrusted? I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but this one's real simple. There has been so much hate from the left to right-wingers, conservatives, and whatnot. They call you names. They tell you you're a threat. They tell you you're a bad person. And they say all these things, yet nobody on the right, no conservative, MAGA, or even centrist has ever attacked them, has ever shot them, or done any of the things I said earlier about the stickers and the signs and all that. They've never received an attack, and they believe to this point, and I believe this is what they believe. They believe to this point the reason this never happened was because they were right, that they're the good guys, and that they can't get attacked, that they can't get hurt, that they can't be bombarded with any of the violence that they invoke on those who are MAGA, conservative, or right, or centrists that believe in Trump and all the things that he's been running for, or even tolerant of Trump and all the things that he's been fighting for. They believe the reason they've never been persecuted up to this point is because they were good. They were the good guys, and they're immune to getting, consequences. And the media made it seem like they would not receive consequences, that there weren't any consequences to having to murder, attack, harass, and persecute those they disagreed with. And now they are about to find out there is such a thing as consequence. And when I say they're going to find out, I'm not saying that, people are going to be getting their guns and going to be hunting down all these people who've been persecuting them. But I am saying this: the next time anyone tries to attack, anytime they try and attack any of us, we're not going to stand idly by and just let you do it. There was a white couple that got attacked by a group of black people. And I'm not racist because I am black and I actually see this happen in the hood and everywhere else. Nobody fought against this group of 5, 6 black guys against this couple. You can have a disagreement, you can have an argument, and it doesn't have to get physical. It shouldn't get physical. But they initiated it, the group of guys, and they beat this couple very brutally. Nobody came up to bat to defend them. That ends today. That ends now. That ends now. You will not be allowed to attack us. We are not going to let these left-leaning political figures who force law enforcement to basically not protect its citizens to have their way any further. If you attack any of us, if you break into our homes, if you desecrate our yards, if you desecrate anything of us, this ends now. And no lawyer, no law official, no political figure, and no governor will have any say whatsoever. Because they have not been doing their job. They have not. In fact, they have actually increased the temperature and encouraged this outcome in the first place. They've encouraged this. And they want us to do nothing. Because if we do something, they want to paint us as the bad guys. Well, not today. Recent events have proven that, you know what, you don't give a damn and we're done. You just want us dead. You want to kill us and make it viable, justify it, and all that stuff. We're done. We're not sitting for this. You can't be human if you literally want us to sit back and do nothing about somebody having to kill us and you justify it as if we earned it. To hell with you. Literally. We don't want you dead. We don't want you hurt. We don't want you to go to hell, but sure as hell we're not going to lose our lives for y'all. We're not going to lose our lives for y'all. We're not going to let you kill us and claim it's right. That too is something of an irony. Because that's what racists did in the day. They killed black folks and called it justified. They didn't pursue any justice for the victim whatsoever. This is ironic to see you fools who celebrate Charlie Kirk's death coming off as not just that he earned it, but that, the person who did it was a hero, that you guys are heroes. But you're not. You're the villains. And now the world sees you for what you really are. A beast that is begging, that is crying to be put down the next time one of y'all tries to attack us. Game on and game over.